Guys, hi. Okay, welcome to the RegiCast. Joining me is Dave, of all people. Hey, Dave.
Hey guys, how's it going? Happy to be here, Reggie. Thanks for
I'm
having
like
me on.
having an immediate observer freak out. Sorry.
Oh no.
Is it live?
Yeah, it's live. Or at least it says live on mine. Pretty sure it's live. Do you want me to check the video?
Anyway, we'll talk about it in the OP section. I freaked out. Okay. It wasn't showing it. So anyway, hi. All right. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. I've all the relevant shit's in the description. All right. Please.
Oh, you've already put it in the description. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've limited the blast to the end. Is how I've been doing it. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
It's just too much. So, guys, Dave is a cool guy. That's my. We should end the video right there.
Yeah, we're done. That's all you guys need to know.
Go to his YouTube channel. Go to his YouTube channel. People really like him. Okay.
Oh.
Feel free to like him as well. Okay. Subscribe. Hit the likes. Hit some nice comments. All right. That's what you gotta do. Everything else is in the description. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get right into it, man.
Let's get right into it.
We're gonna try and vibe out to the best of our ability.
Hard-hitting questions, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not so hard. I've seen what you've done to other people on the show. Maybe you can keep it nice for me. I don't know if I can take
the other day, bro. Oh God. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So what we're gonna do from here is, guys, if you have any questions, we're gonna stop at around 55-minute mark to an hour mark and just ask your questions. If you don't have questions, we'll just end it. That's fine. But then we'll just kind of chill out that way. So all right. So Dave, hi. Let's start with the tradition. Okay, you know what time it is. Start the first impressions. Okay. Let's just start with the first impressions. You already know how I am, but I want to see how I initially was. Yeah.
Oh man, can I be honest?
Yeah.
Wait, you're double decided. You're not going to get your feelings hurt. I didn't have such a good impression of you in the beginning. I have to admit.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it a bit, but I think you had kind of a bit of a persona going on the Discord server, right?
Yeah.
And this particular persona kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I actually came off a bit arrogant, I would say. That was kind of my read. But after getting to know you, getting to know the real Reggie, I realized you are not arrogant, and that, I totally had you.
He's right. I'm not arrogant. I'm conceited. Those are very different. Okay.
Wait, are they different?
I don't know. I'm bullshit. I have no clue. Like,
maybe they are.
Dictionary, I have no clue. I'm joking. SI humor. That's very true. I think, and this is actually something I've been processing, guys, is that it's just like a defense mechanism, I think. Because this happened on the other Dave interview, right? I think people were giving me, people were giving me feedback on that. It's like, because it's like, I just get like, I'm afraid they're going to call me out on some shit or like get me uncomfortable.
Okay.
So then what I'll do is I'll just like preemptively be an asshole.
You're preemptively attacking, right? You're striking first. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's basically what I've been doing. It's not healthy, but it's successful at making zero friends, So that's how that happened. Yeah.
Hey, but at least you're aware of the pattern now, so now you can fix it. I think a lot of people are just like that for years and never even know. So that's good that you're paying attention to that.
Yeah. I mean, a couple fights and you kind of have to learn, right? So
you got no choice.
Yeah.
Well, good. The tribe's there to put you in your place. I guess.
Yeah. So that's so my bad. But I think that's true. I think my first impression, I got that vibe from you, actually. That was my first impression. I'm like, this guy doesn't seem to like me that much. That's legit. I was like, I just didn't know why. I was like, what did I do? But now I guess I know, So I think that was it. I'm sure there's some petty shit, but like, if we're being real, it's Discord, guys. Like, guys, we're talking about freaking memes and all this fun shit, and how I post Gary V content 20 times a day in the Facebook groups. I know how you are. Okay. That's all we're doing in there. It's not that serious. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. And I feel bad that I had that impression, especially after getting to know him. Like, oh man, I feel bad for feeling that way.
No, that's my fault. I fucked up the vibe.
Okay. We'll say it's your fault.
Yeah, it is my fault. That's my new standard. I have to blame everything myself, apparently. So,
Okay.
with that fun first impression, let's get to know Dave. Okay, so Dave, I've met him through the OP community, as you guys might have identified. Basically through the Discords, and then also just kind of indirectly through his YouTube channel, which I think is cool. And then really that's it. And then I think I just reached out. So let's go into the OP shit. Let's do all that fun shit. You already know how it is. Let's get through that, and then we'll talk about you as a human. Okay, and then we'll do the Q&A.
Sounds good.
All right. So first of all, let me look at these notes. We got to go to the Decidership. Let's not even fucking front.
Let's do the Decidership.
What's going on
with the Decidership?
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it's an awkwardness with people, I would say, or people situations. You're not really seeing both sides so well, and so you have, a lot of trouble with that. I think a lot of pain, because you're not really seeing situations that involve other people very well, especially conflicts. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you tend to get very hurt by stuff. You tend to blame people. You tend to blame yourself. You're only seeing half the board. So it's it's painful, man. It's more specific. Was there something more specifically you were?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask some follow-up questions. I mean, but I could the reason I was kind of pausing there is, I could even hear the pain in your voice. I'm like, this is
okay, interesting.
Yeah. So because it's weird, because it's like, I remember us talking in the prep call, and you told me you were kind of starting to overcome that. So I was like, okay, this is lit. But it sounds like it still bothered you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally a decider still. I think it'll be that way for many years. But it is getting better though. I can definitely see progress. But yeah, I'm gonna have these issues for a while until I start really processing these things and not just process double observer stuff all the time. I think that's when I'll definitely make better strides with all this.
Yeah. Fuck, man. So I think what's important about your definition of decider, or your kind of experience with it, you recently got some, so this is me as an observer, you recently got some missing information about the deciders from Shan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? And so if I'm remembering correctly, you were like, hey, both deciders miss what the tribe thinks of them. I was like, well, how is that possible? I thought the DE... I thought the EJs would have been super attuned to what the tribe thinks, but you're like, no.
Sure.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
I'll try. So that I don't completely understand it either, because I was thinking the other thing as well.
Yeah.
When I talked to Shannon in the calls, he said, not only do IPs not see how they're seen by the tribe, but also EJs have that issue as well. The EJs are seeing the tribe members very well, who they are, what they're doing, blah, 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 but they're not seeing themselves from the tribe's perspective.
Okay.
So well, apparently. Can I elaborate on that more? Not really, because it's not exactly my pattern.
So elaborate on your pattern. What's the IP approach?
I think you're just very familiar with yourself most of the time, especially if you're not sleep last, I would say. And you're so familiar with your own perspective that I think that works as kind of a black hole, and it sucks all of your attention towards what you want, or how you're feeling, or what you want to do, as an IP. And so you're leaving the void of, okay, what are other people like? How do other people function? How might they see you? I think knowing yourself and then knowing other people can kind of fill in that area of, okay, I know where I am, I know where they are. This must be how they see me. You know what I mean? You can kind of triangulate. So I think not being able to see other tribe members so well, you can't really fill in that blank.
Right. Do you feel, and forgive me if this is I'm trying with the feelings, guys. I've been trying to do feelings this past week. I'm trying.
Feelings are hard. Yeah.
So that's my qualifier. Is there do you project fear or negativity on the tribe, how they see you? Is that just a default cloud around you or something like that?
Do I project?
Does that make sense?
Definitely projecting. I think we're all projecting in some way. I think we definitely project our type onto other people. But I think I'm projecting the way I see myself onto other people, and or assuming they see me that way as well. I think sometimes. Right. And so you don't necessarily have the most positive view of yourself. I have pretty good self-esteem, I would say, but there are stuff about me that I don't like, and I'm assuming other people see that too. What I'm finding out is that's actually hidden from people, and they're like, "Oh, Dave, you're pretty cool." And it's like, well, if you knew everything, maybe you wouldn't think that.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, so it's like you just assume everyone's in your head almost.
Yeah, because you're so familiar with your head. That's all your whole world, and you kind of assume everyone else is too, because that's you're constantly with all the time, you know.
Okay, so you're gonna have to help me out. So I'm
here to help.
I'm gonna be that basic. Matter of fact, this is my fucking show. I'm gonna be that basic bitch. Oh, I do that too. I feel that too. Okay, because I do. Okay. I feel like that. Now, how would you differentiate between, let's say, an observer claiming that and like a decider claiming that fear?
So an observer projecting how they see themselves.
Yeah, I feel like
other people that they see that as well. I guess on paper, you guys, I guess we're all doing that to some degree. I think maybe the difference is that the IPs are doing it to a much greater degree, where you guys maybe are only doing it in trivial amounts, so it's not so bad. Maybe you guys think there are things about you that are seeable, whereas maybe an IP thinks everything is seeable. Maybe that's the difference, but I'm just kind of
guessing. Okay, so this is so. I want a channel change. Let me look at my notes. Fuck. There's gonna be a follow-up question on the TI though, because I am curious about that.
Okay.
So before I channel change to that, you mentioned in the prep call that there's a fear of conflict that you have. What, like, so okay, so help me understand. So if you, as an IP, are just projecting that everyone is experiencing you the way you experience you, why would you be afraid of conflict then? Because you like you, I would assume.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, why would you be afraid of that? So let me think about that for a bit. Yeah, I guess it's hard to reconcile those two. But I can say with the conflict, I think part of the reason why it seems much worse for deciders than for observers is because, at least for the IP, I feel like that when I get into a conflict with someone, I'm not seeing their perspective on the conflict. I'm seeing mine, and I'm seeing like, oh, I did this to somebody. That's bad. I'm not seeing how it feels to them. Actually, I'm just saying, oh, this is bad. I lied to this person. How could I lie? They're probably going to hate me. But if I stepped into their shoes, they've been lied to before. They're probably not that upset about it. Sure, it's not great. But I'm like magnifying it so much just because I'm not stepping into their shoes. I'm actually just bad. They hate me. Just in my own little world there with that.
Right.
And so I think like we tend to view the conflicts a lot scarier just because of missing information, but it's missing information on the decider axis, you know?
Yeah. And it's and I think that's so interesting. So you just assume people are experiencing you the way you experience you. I mean, well, let me ask this. If it's a savior, have you experienced any positives with that?
Could you give me an example? What do you mean? Like positives?
I mean, like, yeah, it's like, are there scenarios where by you assuming that, like, how do I word it? Like you experience people better, or you just go through your day better, or I don't know if that makes sense. Like, okay, so for example, like for me, it's like, I just assume, so I'm gonna be very me right now. I just assume Super Smash Bros. Is hype. I don't give a fuck. If you don't think Super Smash Bros. Is hype, metaphorically, you could jump off every single building on the planet. Okay? Just metaphorically. All right? I don't want you guys hurting yourselves. Now, because I just assumed that, I treat people, I'm like, well, obviously you see this. And people sometimes think I'm annoying, but sometimes I get to like build relationships with people who are like, oh, I never would have thought about looking into this, so now I'm looking into it. Thank you. Like, so that's, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's like an example.
Yeah, but I think that's like an FI thing, right? If you really like something, then you assume that it's just valuable objectively. Like, it's just, by the way, Smash Brothers is awesome, so I agree with you there. It's the same for TI. We think if there's some logical solution or explanation for something, we think everyone should think that way. Because we've thought of it that way. So
now, is there a benefit to that? Like, have you run into people who've like, for example, like...
I don't think so. I mean, it's good to know what you think, and in your case, what you like, right? That's always good information to know. But yeah, assuming that everyone else feels the same way or thinks the same way probably isn't going to help you much, I don't think.
Okay. Well, let's try. I don't know. All right. Now, let me actually transition to the TI because I think this is a perfect transition. So, and I think you actually started talking about it. So it's like, okay, so if you are projecting as a decider that everyone like obviously experiences me the way I experience me, like within the context of TI, what does that mean? Like, does everyone just like you said, does everyone just think the way you think or process the way you process? Like, what is that?
I don't think it's related to TI.
Oh.
I don't, because I don't assume people think the same way that I think, or even know what I think. That's actually a part of me I don't think that other people know, and I'm surprised when they do know that. I think it's more just my character in general, of who I view myself, outside of TI and all that other stuff.
Okay.
That's the part I feel like people are well acquainted with, even though they're not. But the way I think about stuff, if somebody's like, "Oh, Dave, you think this way," it's like, "Well, how the hell do you know that?" You know, I think it's the same with FI people, where it's like, when somebody sees your feelings, you're, wait, how did you see that?
Oh yeah, so there is a difference. Yeah, I definitely relate to that. So okay, so talk to me about the TI then. So the TI is separate from what you were talking about. So talk to me about how you experience your TI. It sounds like it's secret. It sounds like you don't expect people to know about it. So it's like, what is that like?
Yeah, I'm not trying to keep it secret, but like the TI thing is such an internal thing that you don't see other people watch you do it, because when you're in the TI, you're not external, right? So it's like the way I think about stuff, when I'm thinking about stuff, I'm completely in my little head, and I don't see other people viewing me like, what the hell? Why does Dave do it that way? That's such a weird way to do this, or et cetera, or, that sort of thing. So when the tribe's viewing you do like this TI stuff, they see it and they comment on it and be like, how did you know I was doing that? Because while you're doing it, you're in your own little void there, and you don't notice that other people are watching you. Does that kind of make sense?
Is that true even in conversation though? Or
well, I'm not TIing in conversation. I try to leave TI out for that.
Really? I feel like I've seen you do TI in conversation.
Yeah, so like when I get I'll put my TI stuff out there, but then that's kind of a jump into the inner world. TI stuff, retrieve that, and then blast it out back in the external world. So you're just jumping back and forth, I guess. But while you're in TIing, then I'm in my head, and then you don't exist for a few seconds, and then I come back.
Okay. Can you talk to me like what's the content of your TI, if that makes sense? Like what, like obviously, to the level of your comfort, but it's like, what do you tend to think about? Like what is that?
Yeah. So what is TI content? I think you're just trying to make sense of everything, like, why does this happen this way? Or how does this work? Or like, why this, why that? And I think it's paired with the observers as well. So it's not just TI by itself, but it's also with NI. So it's like, what's really going on here? Like, why is this occurring? What is this pattern? How can I make sense of this? How can I discover this pattern and then use it to my advantage? I think that's, in an abstract way, what's going on with TI, at least with ISTPs. I think it's probably TI-SI, some other stuff with INTPs, but yeah.
Sure. Do you feel like you're doing that primarily with people as a decider?
No, when I'm with people, it's I think it's just SEFE. But like, if we get on a topic
about people, I apologize. Are you TIing about people primarily?
No, and I think that's the problem why I'm not double deciding so well, is because I'm not processing the people stuff. I'm thinking of observer stuff in my head all the time. And that's why observer stuff's easy, because I'm always puzzling it, right? Not puzzling the people stuff so much. I might get stuck on a people issue, but I'm not really puzzling it officially. I'm just using my own perspective, and I'm not really doing it so well. But yeah, most of the TI stuff is control chaos stuff. So like, there's an issue at work, or I can't get this stupid door to close for some reason. Okay, if I open it, or if I unlock, or if I take the screws out and look at the mechanism, can I make the handle go up straight so the thing actually goes into the, just shit like that. That's what. Yeah.
So Dave, you've given me a little bit of comfort emotionally.
Okay. Cool.
Because now I know why I talk so much shit. I feel at peace. Okay.
Good.
I 100% process people more.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you do. Absolutely.
It's so much more. I was just like, yeah, this piece, metaphorically, piece of shit. What do they do? Now I'm talking, now I'm venting, and now I'm like being accused of being dramatic, which I probably am. Okay. But yeah, I think I can relate on the opposite, where it's like, yeah, the people, it's like, look, I need to get them out of my way. So it's like, if I need to talk about them for 5 hours, fine. I just need to make sure this never happens. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas to your example with the door, I probably didn't even notice the door isn't opening. Or it did.
Right.
I probably just barged it open, just, on my way to do something else.
Right.
So
and I think that's it. I think that's why we don't double decide or double deserve, is because we're only processing either our observers, or we're processing our deciders, and that's why there's missing information, and that's why we have our struggles. Either missing information with the decider axis or with the observer axis.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Okay, so your TI like locks onto, and it's like, I don't want to jump around too much, but it sounds like primarily ST stuff, because like the door, that's like a physical concrete.
When I'm in my head, then it's more an NITI, I would say. But the NITI that I can apply to the outside world.
Like, what would be an example of that?
Yeah, so like maybe like with handling work, like work is super draining, all that stuff, and I'm like strategizing in my head. Okay, what's really going on here? What is the pattern of how this is occurring? Once I figure out the pattern, okay, it's because of this. Okay, I need to sleep more. I need to eat better, or I need to relax during my support tickets, or whatever. So it's like you're kind of finding out the concept behind whatever it is you're going through, and then you apply that concept to the physical world. That makes sense?
Nope.
No, really? Oh, okay. I thought that was.
Hold on. Okay. That's not your fault. Okay.
I know.
I'm sure plenty of people in the audience. What the hell? Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm trying to be DE nice. Okay.
I'm just kidding, man. Yeah, maybe it is. Well, I think we're talking with different functions, so maybe there's good everything. Let me think. If I think of like a really good example, I think this will help. Okay, so the door thing. Let's say I'm trying to fix a door. Let's say I'm in my head puzzling how a lock works in an abstract way. An abstract way, in general, what is a lock? What does it mean for something to be locked? What are the requirements for that? Okay, I get in my head what a lock is in general. Now I'm going to apply that general concept of a lock to fixing this stupid lock on my door, which is in the physical realm. Does that make sense?
So hold on. So Are you doing philosophy about what does it mean to be locked to fix your door?
That wasn't the greatest example, but in a way, you are kind of philosophizing in your head with NITI. You're figuring out the general abstract of what's going on, and then you use that abstract nugget of patterns or information, and then you apply that in the real world.
Someone has to do it. This goes to my insecurities about NI. I feel like NI is smarter. I swear to God. I said subjective.
I don't know, man. You
impression.
Smart sometimes, I have to say. You guys figure things out really quickly.
No.
I would say he figures things out quicker than the NI.
It's because we read all the books the NIs wrote, and we're like, oh yeah, I remember Dave telling me about the lock being. That's
a viable strategy. Hey, yeah. I mean, you have to do some work somewhere, whether it's processing it in your head, reading a book, doing whatever. It doesn't matter the method. The fact is, I think you guys pick up on things quicker. I would say that.
All right. I appreciate the FE, which is a great transition.
Neither is smarter. There's one that does things better. Each has its niche, right? Each function is better at something than another function.
Okay. That's my insecurity. Okay. I haven't gotten over it from the MBTI days. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's still there, huh? Yeah, you got to get rid of it.
It is, yeah. This is a great transition, though.
Okay.
Because you did some great FE there. So help me understand how your demon FE. It looks like you're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely doing better. Yeah, how does it look like? Because I don't really get too many tidal waves these days. I think you get so far into your TI and what you want to do, you don't realize that sometimes doing what you want to do is affecting other people because you just get sucked into it. Do I have any examples of that? Off the top of my head. Yeah, I haven't had any blow-ups recently, like knock on whatever this material is.
Wait. Why did you have to ST that?
I gotta be accurate, bro. That's what I do.
Just say would be wrong. I don't understand. Why?
It wasn't wood, Reggie. Okay, I can't say it's real wood, or else I'd be lying.
Why? Who know? No one knew. Oh my God. That's gonna be my next transition. So keep that in your NI. I'm circling back to that ST. Okay.
Okay.
But okay, so FE, you haven't had blow-ups, hopefully. Okay. You're insinuating that it was worse earlier. in your life. Yeah. Okay. And I think you've talked about this in many places. So it's like, I don't want you to like relive some trauma. I'm demon sleep. I don't want you to, cry on my show. There's no crying on my show.
I'll process, bro. No worries.
Yeah. Okay.
We can relive it. No worries.
Okay. So what's the spark notes of your like? I remember you were talking with, I think it was Lindsay, where you guys were processing like when you discovered FE, it's like, oh, there's like things people like, and let me try and impress them all of a sudden. Like, you're doing like the flips off of the jungle gyms and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So So you discovered it at a relatively early age, granted through play, right? But it's like, okay, so how have you been processing it since? Like,
Yeah, so maybe I can kind of walk you through that. So people that haven't watched the interview, when I was a kid, I felt very separate from everyone else. So in order to feel connected with other people, I would try to make them laugh, or I'd try to do dumb shit or whatever, right? So the play was there to save me, right, from not having any FE with the tribe. So that's like stage one. Okay, get the tribe to laugh. Oh, they must like me. Okay, we're good. Mm-hmm. Stage two is actually living with people and not doing things like taking out the trash or not hanging out with them, or just generally being closed off from them without realizing it. I'm just doing my own TI thing. I don't realize what it looks like to them. And realizing that my roommates hated me after a certain point. And that was a big turnaround where it's like, okay, I need to change. I need to figure out like how I'm coming off to people, where this is coming from. Mm-hmm. So nowadays, with I screw it up. Sometimes I'll say some shit that's just very TI and very hurtful of somebody else's feelings without realizing it, because maybe I didn't think of the FE when I said it, or something. I just blurt shit out. Doesn't happen too often, but sometimes I'll do that. Yeah. It happens a lot with just general DE, I think, especially like with work related stuff, just trying to put things off, not trying to do shit, like not really feeling, like I'm a part of the tribe sometimes, and that I have to do what the tribe needs to be done. If it's not something that I want to do, then there's very little pull to do it, I would say. And that's something I'm working on, trying to get it to where I can have those chemicals fire when the tribe needs me, rather than have them only fire when I need me, if that makes sense. Have it to where I'm pulled by the FE and not just begrudgingly doing the FE. That makes sense. Or DE, I wouldn't even say FE, I would say DE in general. Yeah. Doing things in the service for others. I think that's what I'm trying to work on, trying to process. Yeah. But as far as just like the FE mess ups where you say something mean or whatever, I don't really do that much these days. Yeah.
So how have you been like awakening those? Well, I mean, what would that be, like empathy, I guess? Like, how have you been trying to awaken that empathy for other people?
I wouldn't say that it's empathy so much. I would say it's generally, I just like, the thing is, if someone really needs something and they're going to be hurt if I'm not there for them, then I'm there for them, right? Because I can feel that and I know that's a big deal. If it's something that's not a big deal and I think, oh, it's not a big deal, then I'm just going to go do my own thing, right? So in real life, I don't say that's such a big issue with my friends and stuff. I don't really do that. But at work, it's a big one because it's work. I mean, they don't care about me. I don't care about them. I'm there to make money, whatever. Yeah. But I'm trying to not view it that way. I'm trying to view it as an adult, helping the company and, trying to be part of that, not just there for a paycheck. So I think a lot of it is just working and then forcing myself to do stuff and trying to really envision and be aware of the rewards that come with that. And the fact that other people appreciate that and being just very aware of that. And I think that's driving me a little bit more to do more work, I would say.
Okay. So I have a few follow-up questions in relation to you being a demon feeler, because I've been processing that a little bit. One is, what's your relationship with like feeling emotions, period? Like, do you feel comfortable feeling emotions? I know I don't. Like, I'm just working on that. That sounds weird, but it's
understandable. Yeah. I do. Depends on the type of emotion and the intensity of it, I think. Like most emotions, I'm feeling them, they're there. And I try to really just bore down into them and feel them as much as I can. But sometimes, you get really strong negative emotions. And then at that point, I'm not trying to feel those. I'm trying to distract myself somehow. But I'm generally okay with feelings up to a certain threshold. If it gets too high, then I freak out. But it usually doesn't get too high unless there's like a decider conflict or something like that.
So when they get too high, because I actually just realized yours is FE. So it's like under what circumstances do they get too high? Is it when like the environment is too agitated, or?
No, it's usually just with decider stuff, I would say. Usually if there's conflicts with other people, that's when they shoot up, and then I'm really like, oh God, what have I done or whatever. And then I have a hard time dealing with those. But normal day-to-day stuff, I'm generally fine for the most part. And I'm able to just sit with those emotions and be okay with them.
Okay. How about positive emotions, right?
Like, yeah, positive, bring them on. I'm totally okay with bring on as much positive emotions as possible.
Really? So even intense ones?
Yeah, great. Yeah, of course.
I know this is gonna sound weird. Like, so I'm a thinker, guys. So it's like I've been like processing that. It's like I actually don't feel comfortable with too intense positive either.
So they're no longer positive then?
Because it's painful for me.
Yeah, then they're okay. Interesting. So like joy, like if you just feel like a crazy amount of joy, that feels uncomfortable for you.
It feels super uncomfortable. Yeah, and then I feel like I have to tone it down. I think that's why I'm like, that's one of the reasons I'm so awkward, because it's like I'm like, like let's get it back to that neutral, you know?
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Honestly, the weird thing is the easiest way to bring it back down to neutral is to actually experience the emotion fully, even with negative ones. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it stays trapped in there and it does all kinds of weird shit to your psyche. But if you actually sit with it and meditate on it and really just be that emotion, you'll feel it stable out and you'll feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so and then I guess the last thing related to feeling is, so at least in OP they relate feeling to prioritizing. Do you like? With FE at least I kind of struggle because it's like okay, how, like, why wouldn't a TI be able to prioritize? So it's like, have you processed that at all? Like what, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think like prioritizing stuff based on value is tough because it's like, well, what's necessarily valuable? Don't I just get to choose that? Isn't that arbitrary for the most part? You know, I think you can prioritize. Usually, I'm prioritizing a couple things like my health, mental health, physical health. If I'm like learning some sort of skill, etc., I'm prioritizing that. But I think if you go deeper, okay, why am I valuing this? I don't know. But I am prioritizing it, but there's not necessarily an emotional connection to it or a value connection to it so much. It just feels like I logically should be doing this.
Okay.
But there's no like, it's not a value assessment, if that makes sense.
Okay, so maybe I'm digging a little bit deep here, but like,
go.
What do you, like, based on your observations, what do you think the savior FEs are doing? I don't know. So what are they doing that you're not when it comes to prioritizing?
Yeah, I think they're prioritizing other people, right? I think they're prioritizing what other people value. Right. So if other people value wearing a certain type of clothes, then you're going to wear those clothes, right? Maybe not a great example, but yeah, you're valuing what makes people happy, I would say. Prioritizing that. I think maybe FEs, maybe you can speak on this better, but that's my understanding.
And do you feel like your TI, have you ever had situations where your TI locked on to solving something because it saw that the tribe valued something? Have you ever done that? Yeah, there's been very like, okay, so like trivial cases, like my friend has a problem with their computer and like I'm using my TI to fix it so that they'll be happy. Sure, things like that. But I've never like done a project or something big because I thought it would make other people happy and I didn't give a shit about it. I've never done that. I've never done it just because it makes other people happy. As far as like a big thing, little things, yeah, sure, of course. But like I wouldn't start a YouTube channel doing videos about something that I didn't care about only because other people cared about it. I probably wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't either, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's not unreasonable. Yeah.
I'm not doing that shit. No. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So where's my fucking phone? Go back to the SI. There's the energy dominant thing, but I don't know if we want to talk about that. Oh, so let's transition to FI because I was also processing that. Do you even get what FI is doing? Because this is a channel change for sure. Yeah. One thing I've noticed with people who are on the FETI axis, but specifically the savior TIs, is that they're like, FI is confusing to me. Like, why would people make decisions this way? This is like a common TE thing I'm tracking. So I was curious to see where you're at with that.
So I think like what FI is doing is not necessarily confusing. I think what's confusing for me and probably for most TIs is how do you vibe with FI people? Mm-hmm. Like actually demon FI seems to be okay, but like if someone's like like lead FI, I feel like I get into weird conflicts that I don't even know why. And I guess I can't see them well enough to kind of FE my way into creating a good vibe between us. And I feel very confused there because I think what they want to see from me or what they react to negatively, I don't know what that is. Because the other types of FE are completely different. And that type I know.
It's some petty shit, bro. I can give you the perfect example. Now, granted, mine is SI flavored. Okay, so I don't know about the ESFPs or ISFPs in your life. Okay,
sure.
Let's use our friend Julia. Okay, Julia, I'm calling you the fuck out. Okay, feel free to DM me if you're mad. Feel free to send an email to David Jan. Okay, all right, that's me teasing. She knows I love her. All right, now, once upon a time, where we were in this typing team with 2 other people. She puts something. She puts a text in, like, so I'm typing, blah, blah, blah. She puts like a one-liner, right? She's like, "Hey, what was the point of you saying that?" And I got subjectively triggered. I was like, "Yo, is she fucking mad at me? Like, what the fuck?" Like, you know, that, like, because it's so, for me, SI wise, I was like, this is so incongruent with how I thought she communicates. I was like, "Whoa, this is so different." So I got my fucking feelings.
Yeah.
And I got mad. And so I treated her as such, like a petulant child. I'm like, okay, fuck you then. Then, because I learned about FI last week or 2 weeks ago or whenever that happened, you know, then I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I felt this way when you said this, and it's probably subjective. And she's like, oh, I didn't even mean that at all. You know, I was just literally asking the question. I'm busy, you know, I have a life. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. You have a life, you know? So my point there, and yes, it's SI flavor, but it's like, FE can do all the stuff, but it's like FI will just lock on to random shit and just, you know, if it doesn't exist, you're never gonna know.
Yeah. Oh, that's scary because it's like I guess it makes you feel like I have no control over the vibe between me and the other FI. They have to just hopefully not see any shit that they don't like, and then
it sucks. Yeah.
Well, you can work with FE people. You don't have to. They're not going to do that. I don't think. It's more. At least for me, it's easier to vibe with the FE stuff because you know the dance that you have to do in order for you guys to come to terms. You know,
FI, it's like you have to like have like a come to Jesus moment every 3 weeks. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. And oh my God, we're still friends. You have to do all that. I've learned that. That's the song and dance of FI. You gotta like have a little religious reconversion every 3 weeks as to whether you still like each other.
Oh wow, that sounds exhausting.
It's so exhausting. It's so exhausting. You know. Now, with that being said, you mentioned you've actually said something very interesting in our prep. You said you've recently been having some FI moments. Can you share those?
Yeah, so they're a bit weird to talk about because it's super NF, and as you know, I'm not NF. And I don't even know if this is FI. Maybe I just had like one too many beers, and then I was just feeling emotional, like, oh, this is FI. I don't know.
Okay.
But so this was actually a while ago, so let me try to remember this. So for some reason, I was going somewhere, and I was in the train station, right? And for some reason, I was just overwhelmed by feeling. And all of a sudden, the environment started sort of triggering and painting those feelings and changing it into different things. And I was just almost immersed in my environment to where the sensory detail and my emotions were like blending together. So like I was feeling stuff. I heard a guy playing a guitar, and then I had this sort of, I wouldn't even call it an imagery, but I felt like I was enveloped by the guitar. And that was like dancing with my emotions and changing them in a certain way, creating a sort of emotion that was in itself very unique and had something to do with the guitar. And then as I approached the actual train, and then I saw somebody which also influenced it this way, and it was just in this swirl of just, I don't know, I felt like I was in some sort of trip or something like that. And at that point, I was so immersed in my emotions that I couldn't think. There was no TI. It was just like, I'm in this crazy sort of feelings dance right now, and it's pretty cool. And I wonder if this is kind of how FI people feel like sometimes. I can't imagine all the time so I don't know if that's FI, or maybe like somebody put something in my drink. I don't know, but
it sounds like FE. Like I didn't know that's like you didn't tell me the full sensory of it.
I did not.
Sounds more like FE to me because it's so environment. You're like fused with your environment.
Okay.
I think FI can do that, but like FI, it's like almost like you like you're like, so let me speak about my FI, because I know every FI is like, no, I'm different. My FI is special. Then you put your experience in the comments, okay? My experience with FI is it's like your feelings envelop the world. It's different. It's inside out. Where it's like, because I've had similar moments where it's like you have like this picturesque moment, like let's say you're on a mountain.
Okay.
You have like this mist, like, but it's like I can tell the source of the emotions is me. Like if I weren't there, this would not feel this way.
So I wonder if that's because of our observers. So the SC is taking the sensory information and that's blending with the feelings and creating a sort of internal FI state, maybe. I don't know.
Versus SI, it's okay. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just
we'd have to cross check that, right? Yeah, but okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, maybe if there's like FI people in the chat, like if you guys can relate to that or not relate to that, maybe let us know or just put some comments like that was weird, Dave. I don't know what that is. Or yeah, I could relate to that. I don't know. Would be good feedback.
There you go. He's giving you that NF blast. I told you he was going to do it. I told you I was going to make him do it.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Don't ask for too
much. Okay. Now, a few other things about FI. So one of the things you mentioned was, so you're with your relationship with FI. So you said you started to relate to it a little bit. You're like, okay, maybe this is what it's like from the inside out. But you still said you were kind of frustrated with some FI users. Like, so I'll read verbatim. You were frustrated by the quote self-righteousness and moral superiority some of them would have.
Yeah.
Specifically if it was like a IP.
Yeah. Yeah. So I see this from people who have FI first, and I think I've been vocal about this. I feel like I'm complaining about it too much at this point, but like, yeah, I feel like they are kind of hanging their FI over my head. Like, well, I eat vegan. And actually, I recycle all of my plastic.
You're all vegan.
No, I just like, oh God, okay, that's great. I'm glad you do that, but why are you like pushing me with it? Or like, why are you, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see how anyone could be morally superior than someone else. Maybe that's just FE. We're all animals. We all do messed up stuff. We all do stuff out of selfishness. So it's weird for me to like have somebody feel like they're superior to someone else because they, for some reason, feel like they're a better human or they're less of an animal. They're less of a monkey than the rest of us, right? That's how I feel, I guess.
I'm trying to think because I know I've done that to people. It's like, look, I'm just better than you. That's
yeah. Look, well, you guys do it too, but we do it with intelligence.
And intelligence is kind of easier to track, right? Like, so it's like, okay, well, there's the evidence. You know, he just came up with like, you know, thermodynamics. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, he's better. He's better at thinking than me, you know. But yeah, so I would say, first of all the FI. Yeah, this is my channel change. Why are they all vegan? I don't understand. Anyway, I don't know why FI is always vegan.
I don't know. Like, I want to assume. I think it comes from a good place. You don't want to harm animals. Some people, it's like a badge of honor. I think maybe FIs can speak. Maybe they probably wouldn't admit it, but like, maybe like, oh, I'm vegan. That makes me more of a moral person. Therefore, I'm up here and you down here.
I'm trying to like speak from my experience and my experience of people with FI. Like, where is this coming from, right? Like, I mean, it's not going to come from a rational place because it's FI, right? It's feeling. It's not rational. So okay, so maybe this is how I would explain it. So you know how you were telling me about the whole feeling dance?
Yeah.
Just imagine that internally about yourself.
Yeah. That was internally though, that whole thing.
But like, yes, but it's like self, like it's about you.
That's you see that being as like a special thing for you, and then other people not
exactly. Have. That's where the ranking comes from.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's like I'm just better. Like, look, I feel better than you. Like, yeah.
There's no way you have what's inside here because it's pretty awesome, right? Something like that.
Exactly. It's like you're a peon. I don't know what to say. It's like you're just a basic.
You're a peon. That's a great insult. I want to hear you use that one of these days. You're just a peon, dude. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm sure people in the comments or who are watching in the replays are like, Reggie, that's not how FI works. Then let me know. I'm Demon FI. I'm trying, guys.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I know that's how I feel. Sometimes I just feel smarter than people and just better. Now, with that being said, you mentioned on the flip side, not as an insult, but you mentioned that FI seems like an admittedly simpler function than TI. I still didn't know what you meant by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that isn't coming from me. Obviously, I don't have FI, so I don't know if it's necessarily. That's what Dave actually told me in his audio, was that some functions are a bit less of a hassle than other functions, right? TI needs to do all these stupid steps for something. FI is like, I like it, I don't like it. Which doesn't mean one function is necessarily better or more effective or more nuanced than the other one. But the TI eats up a lot of resources in your brain. I think that's kind of the difference. Whereas I don't think FI, I'm guessing, probably doesn't. But yeah, this is a pattern I got from Dave, so I'm not really.
Yeah, no problem. I think he has mentioned this on previous videos. So
yeah, he said that with SI as well. So he said SI is also a very difficult function.
Yes. So there's actually a video called SI hardest function. It's like on
totally.
Where he does that little thing. So yeah, so okay. So you're just leveraging that. That's kind of It's just like FI is like, look, do I like you? Do you make me like? I mean, now actually, let me take a step back. This is my TE, okay? I know people in the Facebook group specifically are now on this crusade of no, FI is also rational and no, it's about values. But then my question is, aren't values still simpler than T? It's like, look, do I value this or not?
It's okay for something not to be rational. Like, I feel like that's in defense of like, no, FI is also rational because it's like somehow rational is better, not necessarily better, right? Like, well, okay. I would say to some degree, FI is rational, but it's not in a very obvious state. So I think FI, I would assume, is something coming from your subconscious. And your subconscious is actually something way more powerful than the frontal part of your brain that's doing the logicking, doing the math. Your subconscious part of your brain is the part that allows you to catch, say, a football. Think about catching a football. It doesn't sound that complicated, but your arm has to make so many minute movements and you have to judge the speed, the wind, the angles, all this stuff. Try doing that with math in your head. Try to consciously catch a football. You can't. Your body just does it, and it does it by calculating potentially thousands of variables. You can maybe calculate 3 or 4 just in your thinking part of your brain, right? So in that way, if I could actually be more rational, actually come from a more sophisticated place than TI, potentially, if that's how it works.
He says,
I don't know if that made sense, right?
He says all that while he just drops the most beautiful TI explanation of all time.
Oh, great. Yay.
Yeah. Fuck you. No, I knew you did that for DI. Okay? That was significant, Dave. That was a significant
I'm happy to hear that, Reggie.
That was great. Okay. The tribe liked it.
Oh, good. Thanks, tribe.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying. I don't know how to do FE.
Okay. You're doing it, man. You're doing it.
I'm just doing the math in my head.
You've done a lot of FE in this. Sorry? You've done a lot of FE in this interview and in our previous interactions. Because you're being responsible for how I might feel about something.
Am I though?
Yeah, totally. You're aware of it. You're like, this might bother Dave or this blah blah blah. Let me be nice here. Let me say this. Like, yeah, you've done that.
It's by accident.
It's subconscious. Accident or not, you're doing it. So
it's subconscious. It's my whatever you just said. I'll just copy and paste that.
Okay.
Now, okay, so the one last thing, and then we'll actually start probably opening up to Q&A. Two last things. One, related to the FI. You mentioned something very fascinating, right? So it's like, in contrast to FI, where the emotion seems to come first, you mentioned that you experience emotion after the TI work has been verified. That I was like, this is interesting to me.
Okay. Yeah, I can talk about that a bit. So it's like we're all run by emotion. At the end of the day, emotion's making the final call, right? That's the part that actually drives us to do something, right? Mm-hmm. The difference, I think, with FI and TI is that I get that emotional kick to do something, or liking or disliking of something, if it makes sense to me or if it's reasonable for me to do, instead of doing it directly, right? So I might let me think of an example. Really bad on examples tonight. I think even getting a gadget that makes my life simpler. The gadget itself, there's no like or dislike, but once I figure out, it'll make this part of your life simple. Oh, this thing will fix that stupid door automatically. You don't have to do anything. Oh, I love it. This is great. Like it's more of like, it comes after the fact, and you like something because it makes sense of things, or it does something that makes your life simple, or it does something that's
Use the sorry, I just got excited because I just remembered the video game example is perfect.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. So we had a conversation recently where we were talking about what gets us into video games. And I was sharing my Smash Bros. Like, I was like, look, the emotions just compounded. Shirtless Sephiroth. You guys already know. I'm not even going to get hyped. But all of that compounded, to me just saying, look, I'm buying this. I don't even give a fuck if the controller's good. I don't even like a Switch. I'm buying a Switch. It doesn't even matter. Whereas with you said it was the reverse. Can you explain how you go about that?
Some games I just won't play if it mechanically is not suitable for me. Like I won't play a first-person shooter on a console because controls are annoying and it doesn't work for me so well. So I won't like the game because I can't use the controls the way I want to use them. And some games I like just because the controls are so intricate and I get to figure them out and do stuff with them. So I like it because of the way it works for me. But I don't see a game, well, sometimes, but I usually don't see a game and think, this game's awesome. Or I might see some feature like, oh, this would be really cool because of how this is actually going to work in reality. And that this suits me very well.
Yeah.
So like with Smash Brothers, I really like actually because of the mechanics of the game. Like there's a very high skill level ceiling with Smash Brothers, right? And it really is about being able to physically command that fucking controller and timing and all this other stuff. And that makes me like it, not the characters or the way it looks or any of that stuff, but the mechanics of it, I think are awesome.
Yeah.
So I like it because of that. Whereas you probably not. You got characters that you like. You got different themes and stuff.
It's so to contrast with Smash Bros. Because it's a good sensory lock on it. It quite I couldn't even give a shit about the mechanics. I don't even know half the mechanics.
Okay.
Of that game, if we're being honest, I don't even know how to do most of the stuff. Okay. It really comes down to just the I love. This is gonna sound very FI. I love the menu music, right? I love that motif. I love the aesthetic of it. I love that it's kind of calling back to all the it's SI too. It's calling back to all of these different things that I used to like. And the fact that they got they somehow contractually got all of those in one place, that's a fucking miracle.
Business that's true. Yeah.
You have Pac-Man fighting shirtless Sephiroth.
Yeah, you got Metal Gear Solid, you got Mega Man, you got all kinds of.
It's so unheard of. So it's that's what it is for me. It just seems like a very triumphant game. It seems like a very hype game. So it's I'm just feeding off of that energy.
Sure.
All right. Look,
I wish I had that. That sounds way more fun than wow, what are the mechanics of the game? What is this?
No. I think the mechanics.
I would love to love a game just because memories. This makes me feel a certain way. I would much rather like a game because of that.
I don't know if that's true because I'm listening to you and I think it's like the flow state. How do I work? Sorry, I know I'm rambling, but it's
it puts you in a flow. Puts me in a flow state. Mechanics.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. It's once you master those mechanics, it's you're you become you can move that character however you want. That sounds cool to me.
Totally. Yeah, that's a big part of it. Sure.
Yeah.
That way, I can't play a game that you just press a button and you just hit that the whole time. You just grind stuff. I hate those games so much. Give me Dark Souls where I got to roll around. I got to use certain weapons. I got to time it. I got to figure out the opponent and what his moves are.
Yeah.
That shit's for me. Yeah.
So maybe this is my last question before we do Q&A. So it's because this actually ties back to TI and identity, interestingly, right? So it's do you feel as though if you master the mechanics or if you master the logic, you can express your identity through that thing?
That is a very good way to put it. Yeah, I would say so. Totally.
Yeah.
I think with anything, when I used to box for a long time, I mastered I didn't say mastered, but I worked on every single punch from every single combination, from every single angle, all of it, because I wanted to flow like water when I'm boxing somebody. I didn't want to be restricted by anything. Mm-hmm. And so then I could be exactly how I want to be, and I don't have any physical limitations on myself. So yeah, that's a good little nugget there. Yeah, it's a good find. Yeah.
There you go. Whereas with me, I just want to be hype. I'm being dead ass. I'm the most sloppy at Smash Brothers. I'm the most sloppy on my interviews. Clearly, I'm not doing all the fancy mechanics. I'm just look, the F I shit out TE so that the FI my FI is punching you through these half-ass things I'm doing. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. But thank you for sharing.
FI is the driving seat, yeah. The TE is just
I think it's important that you share that. So thank you. So yeah, so TI, so just to rephrase that. So TI is deeply mastering the mechanics, especially with yours is SETI or TISE.
Yeah.
You're mastering the physical world so that you can express yourself through it.
Yeah, totally. So let me just say one thing. So this is how I view things and what it's like for me. And so I'm assuming that this is what it's like for TI in general. I don't actually know if other TIs feel the same. I'm assuming they are, but yeah, so I am, I'm a censor, so I have to qualify my guesses here.
Yeah.
This is just a guess. Maybe other TIs don't resonate with this. I'm not sure, but I guess we'll see in the comments. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So really good. Really appreciate it, Dave. So let's switch to Q&A.
Okay.
Here's what I would suggest, and hopefully this doesn't date me on the replay. Guys, my suggestion is ask your questions and then jump on Gray's episode with Kevin, if I'm not mistaken. Because support her, please. And then watch the replay. So I'm going to start at the top. And if you guys don't have questions after this, I'm going to close it up. Okay. First of all, hi, guys. Yes, I'm practicing FE. I'm trying. All right. Let me see if there's any questions.
I haven't really been looking at the comments so much.
Yeah, there's not that many.
Mostly just statements like well and yes.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not one. I don't think there are many questions. We might be able to get out of here early. What the fuck? This is so awkward. Where's the questions? Oh, here we go. I guess here we go. Hi, Anessa.
One question.
Yeah, I know, right?
At least we got one. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So, Dave, do you think you're not willing to get the game? Do you think you're not willing to get the game has something to do with NI as well? AKA, you can't see yourself in the future playing it for the TI reason. So this is going back to like you don't just pick up a game unless remember like the whole bad controller thing.
Yeah. Okay. Let me think about this for a sec. So do you think So I feel like I'm seeing two statements here. So the first question sounds like, okay, if the game is somehow using your NI or triggers that function, would you still play it? Yeah. And then the second question seems like, okay, you can't see yourself in the future. Oh, okay, I think I get it. Okay, so there's something about the game where I project into the future and say I won't be playing this game because in the future I won't like it or I won't. Is that kind of what you're saying, Anissa, or am I?
Just assume that's what she's saying.
Okay, I'll assume that's what she's saying. Yeah, kind of. So like if there's not like a competitive aspect on the game to where the game just stops after a certain amount of time, that is kind of detrimental because I would like to have something that I can build on over time and compete with. So if there isn't a future for the game, then that is a detracting factor. Yeah. But not all. Like I've played games that are just purely single player and don't have necessarily a lot of replayability. I'll still get them. But I'm more excited about something that I could potentially play for a very long time. If that makes sense.
Right. Okay. Yep. Really good. So that was our one question. I guess people are satisfied. Apparently, Odom says if there's no questions, that means you blasted really well. So
yeah, that's a nice way to look at it. Thank you, Manny. I'm thinking like, okay, did I do something wrong here?
No, you're good. I think we're good. All right, so let's do my little wrap up. Let me try and do it within 2 minutes so you guys can jump out. So first of all, thank you, Dave. Dave has his own YouTube channel. He has other interviews. He's a cute dude. Okay, he's dating someone though. So those guys, okay, if you blow up his DMs, that's not my fault. Victoria, don't come after me. All right.
She will. She'll come after that decider rage. You'll watch out.
All right. Okay. But he does have other channels. Feel free to subscribe, like those, leave nice comments. Okay. Next. All right. Pay me on Snug. Okay. I got the Snug merch. Okay.
Oh, you have merchandise.
Got the merch sponsored by Lindsay Lijo. Okay. She has her own merchandise store. I think the design's cool personally. That's why I'm wearing it. And then also, if you're a content creator and you guys need some way to kind of centralize the video, the calendar, and all that, the chat and all that stuff, you want everything in one place, I would recommend signing up for Snug. It's free. So just kind of get that, download that. Next, guys, speaking of Smash Bros. Dave, why aren't you catching these hands in Smash Bros?
I don't have a Nintendo anymore. I have PlayStation.
He's exempt. PlayStation 5?
No, I can't get the damn thing. It's not available anymore.
Oh, Okay.
Maybe is it available in the US now? Can you order it yet? Because here in Germany, I can't get it.
I think you can. I think you can.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe so I'll have to keep an eye on that. But okay, Dave's exempt. But guys, you think I'm talking about shirtless Sephiroth for no reason, guys?
Hey guys, he hasn't mastered the mechanics. You could totally kick his ass at Smash Brothers. So just
okay. My friend code is in my about page.
He's more about the music and the characters. So
yeah.
Smash.
You say that until you get dropped. Until you get dropped 3-0. I know enough mechanics.
You would destroy me, I'm sure.
I know TE enough to body you so you
Fair
get
enough.
Right?
Okay.
So come join us. We're actually going to have a turn. Well, I think we're still having a tournament on Saturday. Okay.
Oh, cool.
So that's what's going to happen. Finally, feel free to subscribe. Now, you're subscribing for yourself. I'm so insecure that I can't even have my subscriber count on. I can't look at it. It stresses me out. So feel free to subscribe for yourself. It's DI selfish.
Or do it for me as well. It would really make me happy too if you would subscribe to Reggie's awesome channel.
Okay. So feel free to subscribe. You'll be able to get the notifications. We're gonna have a few more.
No, don't feel free. Do it.
Okay. Is that your masculine eye or feminine?
Yeah,
eye?
I can do that for other people. I won't do that for my own channel, but I'll do that for your. Do it. Subscribe. You know you want to.
Yeah. Okay. So subscribe, get the notifications. I always try to do at least one interview a week and then 2 clips a week. So be on the lookout for those. Also leave a comment. I'm trying to do my best to get to all my comments. And then also that will allow you to ask any further questions if you're watching the replay and you have some qualifying questions or clarifying questions. Other than that, that's about it. Dave, thank you so much. If you'd like to stay on, feel free. But if not, that's okay.
Yeah, everyone else,
really appreciate you joining us. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Thanks, guys. It was fun. Thanks for watching.